Hey guys, welcome back. So hopefully you haven't been driven to the brink of insanity just yet. I don't know about you, but I have been stuck at home on self-quarantine, self-lockdown, social distancing, whatever you want to call it, for just almost 2 weeks right about now. And even though we have a backyard, obviously, because I'm standing in it, I'm still stir crazy because the only place that I have gone over the past week, I would say, is to the grocery store, and that felt like a huge vacation. But anyway, obviously we're doing it for a good cause, and I'm hoping everyone is staying safe and that all of this craziness in the world ends soon. So instead of focusing on that, because we can get our fill of that on the news at any hour these days, I'm going to talk about something fun, which is books. More specifically, books that I want to read, aka more books to add to my TBR. So today, instead of talking about single books, I actually want to focus on series and series that I want to read. I have been doing a lot of scouring just in terms of on Goodreads and on Bookstagram and on BookTube, basically any place and every place where I get my book recommendations, and I compiled a list of all of the series that I think I want to dive into and give a shot. So I wanted to share those with you guys. One, because if you have read them, I do want to know your thoughts on them and whether or not they're worth getting invested in. And then two, I want to know what series that you guys have on your TBR list. That way, maybe if I read them, I can give you my thoughts and vice versa. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so the first series that I want to talk about is the Dressin Files. I actually found out that it was a TV series after I wanted to read the books, and that said, I'm staying away from this TV series because I still want to read these books. I would categorize this as maybe urban fantasy. It is about a magician who is a private detective and he hires out his services. That's pretty much all I know about it. I didn't want to get too involved with reading the different reviews and different books that are in the series because I don't want any potential spoilers, but it definitely sounds like one that is right up my alley. I don't exactly know if I downloaded the Kindle sample or the first book already. I might have been holding out to get the physical copy, but regardless, I want to check this out. I've heard excellent reviews about it, and so it's got a lot of hype to live up to. I don't want to necessarily say that I don't read a lot of urban fantasy, but when I was thinking about this book, I was trying to think of other urban fantasy books or series that I may have already read, and I'm drawing a blank. So that said, it's probably going to be something new in a genre that I'm not familiar with, which is even more exciting. Okay, so the next series that I want to read is the Shadowhunters series. I know, it's all the rage right now because of the new book that just came out, Chain of Gold or something like that, but this one has actually been on my TBR for a while. In fact, I think I started or tried to read the first book a while back and I just couldn't get into it. Not because it wasn't good, I just wasn't in the right headspace. And so I think I'm finally ready to give it a good old college try. There's a lot of hype around these books, and one of the reasons why I want to read them is because of how extensive it is. If there's one thing that I love about a series, it's when they have a whole lot of backlists to them. So that way, if I fall into that story, I can really get into it because there's a lot of books to go through, a lot of character development, a lot of plots, and this is one of those that meets that criteria. So I'm hoping that if I do pick it back up, I'm able to get into it more. It is a fantasy series, and I am more familiar with fantasy than I am urban fantasy, or maybe this also qualifies as urban fantasy. I don't know. Let me know how you guys would qualify this. I don't technically know the difference between the two of them, but regardless, I will say that it is young adult, and the last young adult fantasy series that I read was A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I don't even know if I'd categorize that as young adult, especially when you get to book 2. So I'm probably gonna have to say Harry Potter. So regardless, it's been a long while, so I think that I'm definitely in the mood to give this one a shot, and I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that I like it so that I can just binge through all of the series and like sub-series that is part of the Sarah J. Maas construct of that world that she's created. Next is the Raven Cycle series. Now, I will be totally honest with you guys. The single reason that I want to read these books are because of BookTube, more specifically Books and Lala, who loves it. and Cindy reads books, or Cindy from Cindy Reads Books, who, does she like this? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure she has a video talking smack about it, and that was enough to pique my interest. So I don't know too much about it other than there's like four not brothers, but like four guys who are friends, and then there's like this girl who's part of their group and she's psychic. That's about it. So I guess it's a good thing that I don't know much about it, because I can go into it blind and form my own opinions. That could also be a bad idea. I don't know. The jury is still out on that. But regardless, I want to check this out, if not for the simple reason that I want to be able to be in on all the inside jokes and all the references from these videos that I have seen, and it seems like something that I would enjoy anyway. I don't want to say that I'm adding it just for BookTube FOMO. I would never do that for books that I have zero interest in. So rest assured that I am still interested in them, despite the fact that I got the original idea from online. Okay, next, let's switch gears and talk about romance series. There is a series called the There is a series called the There is a series called the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, and it goes way deep. It's fairly old, but this has been on my TBR probably the longest out of all of the series. I wanted to check this out years ago when I, gosh, it had to be because I read a book blog, or maybe I saw it on Twitter. Whatever the new thing was years ago, Goodreads, I don't know, but regardless, I've had this one on my TBR for a while, and I think it's finally time that I give it a go. This one centers around, obviously, romance, but vampires, and I am a sucker for a good vampire romance, Twilight included. And if I am remembering it correctly, it follows a pack of guys, obviously in this brotherhood, and so each book is about a different guy and his coupling with whoever female. And so I'm pretty sure I could probably start anywhere in the series, but because I am the way that I am, I always have to start series, well, almost always have to start series from book one, and I'll probably do that with this one. Let's switch gears to a different genre. This one I would categorize as historical cozy mystery, and that is the Amelia Peabody series by Elizabeth Peters. Now this one is definitely very prolific. I have wanted to read this one ever since coming across book one in my local library. At the time I didn't even realize it was part of a series, but then after I looked it up and I saw how many books were in there, my interest was definitely piqued. This one revolves around, I wouldn't necessarily say a female Indiana Jones, maybe the Rachel Weisz character in The Mummy, I would say. So she is a unattached woman explorer back in the early 1900s, and so as the series goes on, she is going to different places around the world. The first one takes place in ancient Egypt, and I believe a lot of the stories do, and then different places as the series goes on. So this one I'm definitely interested in. I will say I don't read a lot of historical fiction, not necessarily by choice, it just happens to pan out that way, and I don't think that makes a difference with this, because the way that Elizabeth Peters has been described in writing her books, there's a lot of really well done imagery, and you're able to be put into that time and into that era. So I'm really excited to see what that's all about. Okay, last up we have Nordic noir, or crime fiction, I guess, if I had to give it a larger blanket genre, and this is the Harry Hole series. I heard about this from a bookstagrammer that I follow and love their reviews, Crime by the Book. If you like mysteries, go follow her, and she talks about her love for Joe Nesbo's work, more specifically the Harry Hole series, which is essentially about a man named Harry Hole who is a police detective and all of the crimes that he solves as the series goes on. The series is very prolific, and if I am not mistaken, it can be read out of order. In fact, Abby from Crime by the Book suggests that there are certain books that if you're new to the series you can start with, and the ones that she suggests isn't book one. So this, I probably will break my rule with starting book one, because I definitely trust her judgment, and I believe she says to start with The Snowman, which may be book three, which I'm gonna do, and I'm really excited to get in this one. I know they made a movie about The Snowman and it didn't do so great. Luckily I haven't seen it, because I knew I wanted to start the series, and I didn't want whoever played it and whatever they talked about in the movie to ruin my experience. So this one one I will probably start with first. I don't know, let me not make that grand statement because y'all know that I am a huge mood reader, and so depending on the time of day / time of the week / time of the month that you ask me, my answer will be determined by that. So what are there, like monkeys living in my backyard? Anyway, so that's it for my list. I've got a whole bunch of options to choose from. The great thing about all of these series that I talked about is that they have a long backlist, which I am so excited about. I love sinking my teeth into a series that have a lot of meat behind them, and so each one of these does. So if you are interested in any of these and you haven't heard of them, then feel free just to know that you're about to get sucked into this big world, because a lot of them have at least, I would say like 12 books minimum. I think that's right. Yeah, so anyway, like I said at the beginning, please let me know if you have read any of these and what you think about them. Please let me know any series that you're looking to start that I didn't mention that I might be interested to add it to my list. And in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did. Stay safe, keep reading, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!